So, hello and welcome. My name is Katie Tremulous, and I have Tanika from Ladies and the Stamp. She is coming on here as a resource for us, as a Georgia notary and also a coach. So, thank you so much for coming on.
Yes, thank you for having me. I'm excited. I think we've been off and on Instagram, knowing each other for about 2 years or something like that.
Yeah.
Exciting. So my name is Tanika Nesbitt, and as Katie said, is Ladies in a Stamp on Instagram. I have been a notary probably for maybe 20 years, but honestly, I started digging into really being a notary. I'm originally from New York, let me say that, but I didn't start getting really detailed until I got to Georgia. And that was about 2010. So that's what, about 15 years now. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, it's been a long time. I might be my age. But nevertheless, I really picked up getting serious about changing the dynamics of just doing notary work from people reaching out to me to like the loan signing world or notary signing agent world, whatever you classify it as, about 2019. Right. And in 2019 was a good time because y'all know we jumped right into COVID in 2020. And so most people, businesses who already was started took off
Mm,
because nobody wants to go outside. Nobody.
yeah,
Same thing with Ron. It's like they started implementing that in other states because of COVID. It was like, oh, everybody could do it. We even
exactly.
had a little temporary order of some sort to do it. And that was exciting for us because I don't know how much you guys know who's watching. The difference between an attorney state and a non-attorney state. It is a big difference, right? It's a big difference in how you earn money. It's a big difference in the fact that you can't do Ron, right?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
crazy. It's like all of these notaries, like Katie, who can do all this wonderful stuff from home, and we got to be out in the streets. Not saying that Ron notaries don't also do mobile notary as well, but we don't have that option that you have. But that is not to say that we can't make the money at all.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, from experience, normally in attorney states, you don't make as much, right? You don't make as much as someone in a non-attorney state. So I don't want you to think that when you hear people say, oh, I make six figures, I make this as a notary, that can be everywhere. It's not that it's a myth, but it is not as easy to do. Like I said, I've been doing this for a long time and I've created a lot of great relationships, and I'm still at maybe 80,000 in a year, right? And
Mhm.
I'm in an attorney state, guys. I'm in an attorney state. So it's possible because let me tell you something, making $2,000 a month or $3,000 a month, to me, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but that's a big deal. That's somebody's whole rent or mortgage, right? That can be a car note for some. Well, if your car is that expensive. So
When you
nevertheless,
drive.
exactly. So it's like it's being a notary, right?
Mhm.
We're taking on that industry, whether it's an add-on or to whatever it is that you're doing, or if it's a full-time gig. I was able to go part-time in my full-time gig, just to do this full-time. So
Yeah.
just to give you, an idea of how that works.
Mhm.
And before I get into anything else about it, I just want to make sure you understand what an attorney state is and a
Okay.
non-attorney state, right? So
Mhm.
attorney state is for notaries is pretty much where only attorneys or attorney supervised notaries are allowed to conduct these real estate closings. And it's really particularly on loans and mortgage transactions, right? That is it. But it's not to say you can't do those transactions without an attorney for a state that is a non-attorney state. So even though I'm in an attorney state, if the closing, to give an example, I'm in Georgia,
Mhm.
and Georgia is an attorney state and Texas is not. So if the house is in Texas and an attorney reach out to me and say, hey, we need to do a closing for people who live in Georgia, but who house is in Texas, I can still do that notary closing. So I hope that
Okay.
makes sense.
Yes, I didn't actually know that. So is that only specific? Now we were talking about for attorney states. Is that only specific for loan closing? So if you wanted to do general notary work as a notary, are there those types of limitations, or can you just do like a parental consent? anytime.
So when it comes to anything outside of a loan closing or any
Mhm.
type of documents that has to do with mortgages or real property, we can do it across the board,
Okay.
right? You have no restrictions on that. Um, and that's what I want people to understand. When you hear I'm in an attorney state, it is really only for loans, right? When it
Okay.
comes to loan modifications and things like that.
Mhm.
Full closing, seller closing, buyer closing, all of those things, refinancing the property if it's located in the state of Georgia, and it could be in any state that is an attorney state. I'm just using Georgia because that's the state that I'm in.
Yeah.
But if it's in this state, if the property is here, I need an attorney to supervise that closing,
Okay.
right?
So there's a ton of different avenues that you can take as a notary in the state of Georgia, aside from just, okay, okay, I'm getting at it because I'm glad that you went over that because I didn't really understand what it meant for the differences when anyone would come to me and they're like, I'm in an attorney state, can I still do XYZ? And I'm like, I don't know.
Maybe, maybe not. No.
I don't
But
know.
here's the deal. We can still do the property here in Georgia with an
Mhm.
attorney's supervision.
Okay.
So guess what you need to be doing as an attorney in Georgia? You need to be making the connections with the real estate attorneys, right?
Mhm.
That's your friends here. Unlike with most states, it's title companies, escrow companies. We can work with loan signing agencies and stuff like that as well, because again, they're all over. So
Mhm.
they did know that Georgia is one of those states. And so they're not going to send you work for Georgia unless an attorney is attached to the file. That is your key. The attorney has to be attached to that file. So let me give you an example. So it's kind of clear.
Mhm.
So I get a call from a signing service and they say, "Hey, Tanika, I got a seller closing, and the location is in Georgia. Um, this is the amount." You know how they do. They give you the whole little spiel on what's what. And it's like, oh, okay. So is the attorney information on this document or in this profile? Do they reach out to me or do I reach out to them? Right.
Yeah.
So they're like, oh, well, the information is in there, or we gave them your information. Right. Either way, we have each other's information. So the way that looks is now I got it. I'm very
Mhm.
aware what I can and cannot do in the state of Georgia. And so I'm going to reach out to the attorney first. Call the
Okay.
attorney, or sometimes I've had cases where I got it in like less than 2 hours. The attorney is already on my phone, like, hey, you got our closing. It's like, you. So I'm a little bit on the countryside of Georgia. So most of the attorneys are in the city. So more than likely, they don't want to come out this far. They're like, these people don't want to go out to Atlanta, the city area. So we need somebody to facilitate that. The
Mhm.
attorney literally we will connect. The fact that we just connected, guess what? That attorney is now supervising the closing,
Okay.
right? Now I know exactly who I'm working for, the attorney.
Mhm.
So when normally what'll happen is they'll say, hey, when you get there, you can put me on FaceTime or you can give me a call. I will explain the closing disclosure, those main documents that need explanation, because we can't do it because we're in an state, right? Although we know it because we took in training and things like that, but that's not going to be our place, right? So I will get to the location, meet the clients, the seller, the signer, a little bit because they people talk.
Yeah.
And then they'll say, okay, I'm ready to sign the documents. I have everything set out for them. And then I'll get the attorney on the phone, whether it's FaceTime or a call, and we put them on speaker. And he'll say, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, good hands. You got Tanika. She's going to help you do the documents, but I'm going to ask her to pull these specific documents out, right? Go ahead, Tanika. Can you pull out the closing disclosure or the loan disclosure or whatever it is that, the documents or the mortgage deed, whatever it is that they want to be specific on. And then
Mhm.
I'll pull them out as the attorney is saying it. And the attorney is explaining that to the person, whether it's on FaceTime or a phone call. It's on speaker and they're saying, hey, this and that. Do you have any questions? And they're
Mhm.
like, no, I pretty much understand. Okay. So they can go ahead and sign that. Or the attorney will say, He'll give that explanation for the things that they have questions on and then say, okay, well, she'll have you sign everything after, we hang up, you'll do all that. Right.
Mhm.
So guess what? The attorney just supervised that whole closing.
Yeah.
He was not, or she was not physically in the room with me, but that's their file. Right. So
Mhm.
I'm a notary working for the attorney.
Okay.
So we complete the documents and then I get back on the phone. As long as they don't have questions and I don't have questions, I'll get back on the phone with the attorney, say, hey, we're all set, everything's signed. I'm gonna get these documents back to you. And they're gonna be like, okay, great, awesome. You have the information on how to get them back to me, whether if somebody close, you can walk in, bring the documents, or if they're far, they usually give you a FedEx, yes, just like you would a signing, and say,
Yeah.
hey, make sure you drop these documents. Thank you so much. We appreciate your service. We appreciate you helping us get this done, blah, blah, blah. And that's it, right? I still
Mhm.
did a full seller's closing without in an attorney state.
Yeah.
It's property in my state because the attorney supervised it. So I think people get away from thinking, oh, I can't do it if I'm not an attorney. That's not
Mhm.
what the state law says. It says it has to be an attorney supervised notary, if
Okay.
not an attorney, right? So
Yeah.
um, that's where I think people get stuck and then they don't do the job, or they say, I can't do the job, or feel like, they did the job, they would get in trouble. You
Yeah.
just gotta know how to articulate and know what you're dealing with and make sure and don't let a signing service derail you.
Uh-huh.
Like, oh, you can do it. And it's like, no, I can't. Where's the attorney?
Yeah.
Right? That is a full closing. You trying to get me to do a whole refinance and you
Mhm.
don't know who the attorney is. We can't
Yeah.
do this. So it's just knowing your laws and knowing what to do in any state that you're in, whether it's attorney or non-attorney. And
Mhm.
I'm sure it's the same way. If we were able to do Ron, I'm sure it would be the same way because we would probably still be able to do it that way. Is just that we need to make sure the attorney is on speed dial with us. We
Yeah.
spoke to the attorney. Attorney can say, "Yeah, that's the notary that I said go," um,
Mhm.
so that it's covering you and them too, because attorneys know that's what they supposed to do.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a relationship with the attorneys. That's really what you need out here.
So you would recommend do you go directly out and build those relationships and say, "Hey, I'm a notary in this area, like, if you ever need someone, reach directly to me," so that way in case they are contacted by a title company, they know to call Coach T right away and then just send the is that the type of relationship that you
So it's safe to say that that is how you can build relationships. Just go, pick a day. I'm sure you've heard it before. I think it was a few different versions of where I'm, because I listen to YouTube and all kinds of stuff as well, just like everybody else. Um and people say all the time, walk into these offices with goodies.
Mhm.
That's what you do.
Yeah.
And you say, hey, I'm just going to drop some stuff off. You don't really have to speak to the head person. You don't. But if you speak to somebody, they're going to share the information. Make sure your card or your information is in there, or you can leave it in their front office. To be
Mhm.
honest, Google has been the biggest way for me to actually get business. I've had plenty of attorneys from different states reach out to me just based on my location. Of course, they needed somebody in the area, and
Mhm.
and I'd be like, "How did you find me?" And they'd be like, "Oh, I was on Google looking."
Yeah. Interest I would not have thought that, but that's good. And then also I wanted to touch on a point that you just said about, another important thing for when you're marketing is to ask how people have heard of you, so that way you can continue doing whatever it is that's actually working.
Yep.
Um, it took me a long time to figure that out. I'm like, "How did you find me?" And then, they're like, "Oh, XYZ," and it's like, "Oh, that's
Oh,
actually working."
okay.
Okay.
Let me pay a little bit more attention to that.
Yeah. Yeah. So, okay, that's do you have any tips to make your Google My Business, like, kind of stand out?
Absolutely. So what I've noticed that's worked is you have to be on your Google My Business making posts, just like you do
Mhm.
with Instagram, like you do on Facebook. You have to put pictures on there. The ones with pictures will go further to the top than the ones without pictures. Ask
Okay.
for the referral. That's super important. What I've learned and what I've what I also teach who, my mentees and things like that, and those that follow me is ask for the business. Hey, if you really enjoyed my service, can you please leave me a review?
Mhm.
It does not hurt to ask for a review. You can ask for a review, which you probably know from the signing platform. You can
Mhm.
ask from the attorneys, from the client. Like get as many reviews as you can, and just have a link ready for people. Text it right on to them. Right here you
Yeah.
go. Don't worry, I got it. Do it before you leave, and if you
Mhm.
forget, do it when you leave. Because I've sat in my car and like, oh, I forgot. Let me text them because you got their number. Let
Yeah.
me right quick and say, "Hey, thank you so much for allowing me to do your notary closing today. Can you please leave me a review?" Something so
Mhm.
simple as that. And then they'll be like, "Oh, yeah, let me do that."
Yeah.
Right?
And I wanted to touch on something else that you've said that you have mentees and you do coaching. Can you touch a little bit on that as well?
Yes, absolutely. So I do mentoring and coaching. Typically I used to do it for 2 times a year, but now I
Mhm.
actually have a membership platform where it's
Okay.
month to month. And so we do several lives in there. We definitely collaborate. It's not Although I'm the main person coaching and teaching on these specific ones, we do have other people, and you also have other notaries in there that are also, doing good in their businesses and able to give the feedback. And we don't just make it I'm teaching and you listening, right? I'll
Yeah.
do the main part of the coaching, but then I'm always, because it's a nice size, group, I'm always asking other people, have they experienced it? Let's talk about what your experience was. Let's talk about how it worked for you if you're in another state, because everybody is all it's everywhere, right? We have notaries from California all the way down to New York. So the different experiences help people understand. And listen, even though you in one state and somebody's in another state, does not mean you don't need to know what's going on in that state, because you will get a signing for that state. And you was like, I remember this girl telling me this, and this, and that. So it's just about growing your knowledge and
Mhm.
connecting with notaries from all over.
Yeah, because, to your like, exactly what you're saying, I had a client that was talking about something that they needed a notarization done in person, but the notary was in a different location. And I'm like, I think you're talking about Rin. That's only this state, and I will give you. Yeah, I was like, I will give you. Like you're talking to the perfect person, but I will give you the contact for the person that I know in that state that can do it. And he was like, oh, like you don't mind, and I was like. No, we want to get this done. I don't, come back the next time. It's fine. So,
Exactly. You know where you found the help at. I helped you.
yeah.
It's no sweat. It's to pass it on. Same thing with when I get people that call me and be like, "Hey, um, can't we just do this remote?" It's like, I can't do a remote, but let me see who can do a remote. It's like, who's in this group that has remote access? You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So it does not hurt, and it's actually a great thing when you can collaborate with other notaries. We can't be everywhere. We only can serve our state. Ron's can serve more. But so for some of us who can't, that's
Mhm.
also a help for me to be able to say to somebody who reached out to me because they found me on Google, and I'm able to still get them help. They don't
Mhm.
realize that the help went outside of my organization. They just know that I did what I'm supposed to do, and that's part of customer service.
Yeah.
And we got to stay within those customer service guidelines, especially when we run a notary business. We can't be those notaries that say, "Oh no, I don't know. I can't help you." Okay, thank you. No, I'm not around. No, bye. Right? We gotta use our customer service skills. That's how you grow your business.
Mm.
So that's another major way to grow your business. It's just being customer service savvy.
And resourceful because when I
Mm,
first started out, like, I had no idea, and I was like, "I don't know, I can't do that," and I had no one to offload anything to, and it's changed my business a lot because this is another thing that I'm really, starting to, really hammer home is that you can't be in your business all of the time. There's going to be things that you get sick, you want to go on vacation, like, and it helps to have other people that can kind of take that offload.
yes.
So, like, I have a mixer coming up within my own area for different notaries that I'm going to go to, so that way I can offload some of the things that,
Mhm.
because I have people that are like, can you go out to this area?" And I'm like, "No, I have prior commitments." Like, but I have a really nice notary that I know in that area that I recommend, and so I think it all washes out, as far as stuff like that.
It does, because they're gonna remember you were nice enough to say, "Hey, I can get you some help," right?
Yeah.
Um, I come from a banking background initially, so of course I'm already like, "Yeah, we can figure it out. We can make a way." You need help? We can't do it, but let me get you the information.
Well, okay, yeah, because, like, apostilles, alright? I'm gonna be upfront, have almost no idea how to do an apostille at
Oh
all.
gosh. Listen,
No.
I have an amazing young lady who does apostille. And I took a course, and
Yeah,
let me tell you, I was still confused during the course. Wait, so what are they getting paid for? Like,
but, uh, I would take that and then just find someone
who
and, like,
knows
have her,
exactly what they're talking about? Exactly. Because there's a notary that does it. Look, somewhere.
like, "Okay, what country do you need this for?" I'm, like, writing it down, I'm like, "I don't
I
know."
at
So,
one point, now I'm better at it. But at one
yeah,
point I didn't even know what questions to ask. It was like,
I
oh,
know.
you just let me give you a call back. Can I get your number? What and the only question I could think of is what country, because I
Yeah.
know it's not it's not going here. It's
Yeah,
like, "Okay,
so
let me get you a let me get my associate to call you back."
yeah, yeah, it's like, I'm about to go on another call, but let me take down some of your information and I'll give you a reply back."
That's a good one too. Yes, absolutely.
I've used it a couple times. But yeah, so just being resourceful and then like saying, that even though it's not necessarily you, I would say like, my team can help, or
Mhm.
whoever it is that I'm working
Yeah.
with. And then kind of offload some of that because it's you can't
Yeah.
be by yourself if you want to have scaling. Um,
No,
which yeah,
can't.
no. Um, so what are some of the ways that you recommend for notaries that are just starting out to meet with other notaries? So, like either within their area or a community.
Yeah. So definitely there are so many notary directories. Take advantage of that, right? Go in and look in your state and see what other notaries in the area. I don't know if people use Thumbtack. That's also another way to look up notaries in your area, because they'll come up by your city and state and the stars, right? And if you want to be really bougie about it, look up the ones with the 5 stars and be like, I'm gonna be friends with them.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah,
um networking, networking events. Like you said, a mixer that's coming up.
yeah.
I know that I joined my chamber of commerce, right? And not only were there other notaries in there, but if you know anything about the chamber of commerce or its Rotary Club in some places, that's
Mhm.
all of the local businesses, the head people of the local businesses. So whoever owns the Chick-fil-A, whoever owns the Wendy's, whoever owns the United Bank down the block, Truist, right? They all come together once a month and exchange information and businesses. You need to be that notary in the room doing that as well. So,
Yeah,
whether it's your chamber of commerce or Rotary, and you can always look it up to see which one is closer, which one is in your community, because they have one, I believe, in every town, county, or however where you live. Things are different for us. It's counties. It used to be boroughs for me. So it just
yeah.
depends on where you are and which one is available, but it's a great way to network. Um,
Mhm,
like I said, networking events, brunches and things like that. Like,
mhm. I like the brunches. Yeah. So,
well, you need to come to mine. You need to come on down to Georgia, because every September I
oh,
have a brunch. So I'm having my fifth. I'm so excited to say this is my fifth year. How about that? um, so we're
congratulations.
having a fifth year sip and stamp brunch. And yep, sip and stamp. Look.
I like
Um, because we like to have fun, but we
Yeah.
still have to be about business. So it's kind of like a mastermind. It's a 2-day event. Um, and it's the dinner is the night before the first night. And then the
Mhm.
second night is really like a mastermind. It's gonna be fun. Brunch and all of that will be served, all of them great things. And we do it every September, and this year it's gonna be September 27th and 28th.
Okay. I
So I
okay.
have to get you the information just in case you can make it down. And it's in Atlanta. Look, who doesn't want to come and have some fun in Atlanta?
Yeah. So
Nowadays.
what? Yeah,
Nowadays, everybody was
okay.
like, "I'm going to Atlanta."
I know that's a short flight for me.
Um,
Okay. So how are we going to find you? Like, what's the best way to follow along with what you're doing and then also join your community?
Yes. So, there's a few ways. On Instagram, I'm at Ladies in the Stamp. That is my notary business. And then I have the membership is with the Notary Business University. And so we have that's where the monthly membership is, where we get to kind of do this on a regular basis. And
Mhm.
then my Facebook group, which I would love everybody to join. It is a totally free Facebook group. It's more about notaries empowerment, and spreading notaries around to help each other and things like that, especially when you need witnesses and all of that good stuff. Whether you are Ron or not a Ron, it is a great community to be in just to kind of meet people that are notaries in your area. Um,
Mhm.
and that is Boss Women Who Notarize on Facebook.
Okay.
And so it is private.
Okay. And then that is not only for Georgia notaries, right? Like all of your information can be relevant to
Yes,
people.
food
Yeah.
all over. Absolutely. No, I am not specific to Georgia.
Mhm.
However, me being a Georgia notary, I'm more of an expert in that area. But no, we have notaries. Like I said, I have notaries who've already paid for the ticket to be in the brunch that's in
Mhm.
California. Like, y'all not playing out there.
They're ready. They're going to
Yes.
Atlanta. Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. Go somewhere different. So
Mhm.
no, Texas, I have a lot of believe it or not, Georgia is not the biggest state inside the Facebook group. But we have a good amount in there. It's just not the most, which is okay because
Yeah.
it doesn't matter where you are, a notary is a notary, right? You
Yeah.
have to, of course, abide by your state laws, but generalization overall, we do the same thing.
Mhm. Yeah, and then I think that sometimes it's very specific the issues that we have because I have run into so many obstacles as a notary that as soon as I talk to another notary, like I can talk to business people all day, they have no
Yeah.
idea. And then if I talk to another notary, they're like, "Oh, just send over XYZ," and then they'll stop doing that. And I'm like,
You're like, oh, I didn't think about that.
that was such a like the topic that we're thinking of the topic that I'm thinking about right now was I told a notary that I kept going to the appointments and the people would not have their IDs. And
Oh,
so yeah, I it happened enough for me to have to talk to another notary.
realize, right. I'm doing
So
something wrong.
yeah, so I know. So basically what he said, he was like, just do a call beforehand and just say, you're gonna need your ID and some other stuff like if you have large dogs, maybe
Please
put them
put them away.
in the room. Yeah.
Please put
So
them away.
I've I've had to use my laptop case to like protect myself from this,
Right.
yeah, giant husky, and I was like,
Yeah,
so
and let me tell you, people's dogs don't have no boundaries.
no. And so, it's fun. I like dogs, but sometimes there's I need to be able to do the business and get
Mhm,
everything done and then I can, socialize with any dogs. But yeah, that was something where I was struggling within my own business and then it
mhm.
was when I started doing that, it really did cut down on the people that, you know,
Didn't have that ID.
didn't have the
Absolutely.
IDs. So, yeah. But
So I started with, I would text people. Hey,
yeah,
a little list of things that I need you to have. So when I come, I need you to be ready. That also helped because nowadays people won't answer the phone, but they will answer a text.
yeah. Well, I don't know why, but I don't know. I have such a thing about like remembering that I didn't text people.
Oh,
Um, I don't know why, because I feel like it was ingrained in me that it's more, like, proper to call people, but I'm like,
Yes.
I prefer text message over call any
Me
day. Like,
And,
I
I agree because that's the way, that I kinda like I said, coming from the banking world,
yeah,
everything was
yeah,
get on the phone and give them a call, give them a call, give them a call.
yeah,
But over the past since COVID, over the past few years, um, I'll call somebody to confirm an appointment and they won't answer. And then I'll
mhm,
text and I'll say, "Hey, this is the notary. I just tried to call you. You didn't answer. Maybe you're at work. When you get a chance, give me a call." And you know what they would do? Text me back. "Nah, we good. We can meet at 2 o'clock." I'm
yeah,
like, so we just texting?
yeah, it's like, "Okay,
I got
well,
enough of those. I'm like, let me just text. And then they respond. So um I always give them the option though, hey, give me a call or text me back, right?
yeah,
Because if they feel like the texting is too much for them, just give me a call. It's okay. I'm
mhm,
gonna answer the phone. But I kid you not, 98% of the people will be like, they will text me back. I did get the call, I'm at work, or I did the call. I'm available tomorrow at 2 o'clock.
yeah, yeah."
I'll be
Well,
here.
I also think that that is a reason why I really think that there's going to be an increase in both mobile and RON work because, um, like, the generation that's coming is more selectively social in the fact that
Mhm.
they only wanna deal with the people that they have to or the
Yep.
people that they want to, rather than, like, dealing with the general public. Like, self-serve things are more popular for a reason, and it's like, we're we're social, we just only in the right
Whenever we
circumstances.
feel like it, right,
Yeah,
exactly.
exactly, and it's like
That's definitely true, and that's why they have to go ahead and make Ron a thing everywhere because it's crazy. I feel like that should be the way every state should go. It's an amazing platform for people to just be home and be like, let me go do let me get this notarized done. Give me a second. Let me get on my computer.
yeah.
Listen,
I've had people that are, like, walking through airports or, like, literally like, "Hey, okay, yeah, okay," and I'm like, are you okay? Are you driving right now?"
listen,
Like,
right. If I'm on my way out of town, whether business or not, and I gotta get this document done, if I can just give you a call and be like, let me go sit in the corner by the
yeah,
plane before I get on there because we don't
I've
leave
had
until 2. Listen, I'm gonna get it done. And so
yeah,
that's the blessing and
mhm,
the goodness of technology and how it's moving.
yeah,
I know that, there's some ups and downs with goods and bads in technology, but I think that um technology is going to be a good thing for a lot of reasons.
mhm.
Social, of course, is not going to be one of them, but being able to just reach out, talk to people, and touch, that's not going to be one of them. But that's just the way the world is going.
Yeah. I think that, like, especially even for social media, like, the marketing I was just sitting in on a, video with, Gary Vee, and he was talking about how social media marketing is, like, an easier way for people to get in front of a lot of people without having to like, "We're gonna film this one video, and then we can use it
For
forever."
Yeah.
So, it is a nice way to kind of do organic marketing,
Hmm.
um but it is very intimidating for people to get this type of thing set up and get out into the public, in
Yes.
this way, but I don't know, I think you just have to do it sometimes where it's like
Yeah. That's really it. And
yeah,
to add to that, people can literally get on here and talk, and then when it's time to get in front of people, they want to hide.
yeah, I I do that.
I
I do
used to
that.
be that person. I used to be like, I don't want to talk to, don't call me up. Don't ask me no questions.
Yeah,
I used to
I
be like that.
when I'm at conferences, people are like, "You do you" they say it with this face, they're like, "You do YouTube?" And I'm like, "Yes, I do YouTube."
'Cause you was in the corner, mighty quiet.
Like, yeah, but, like, if you think about it for video and stuff, like,
Mhm. You
it's
still by
in
yourself.
there. I'm just in my house, like, I'm in my house, it's comfortable, I can talk and, so it's a
And
lot
if
less
nobody don't like it, it doesn't matter because they don't want to
yeah.
tell you right then and there. So it is what
Exactly.
it is.
So, yeah, no, it's nice, and then also, I was thinking about this a lot for, like, busy parents or anything like that.
Mhm.
I can carve out some time, and then I'm able to get in front of however many people that I am rather than then that's forever, rather than
Right.
if I go out in person, which side note, I do still think that it's important to do within your business, you need to go out
Mhm.
in public,
Yeah.
but I think that the immersive approach of doing both is helpful to round out your, like, long-term
Yeah.
business marketing game,
Yeah.
so, yeah.
And you too, because at the end of the day, we still are growing who we are,
Mhm,
no matter what. And so just being out getting some of the personalities and meeting new people and new things, it help us grow as people and in leadership as well.
mhm. Well, yeah, exactly, and then sometimes like, okay, we were talking about conferences,
Mhm.
um, and I went to a conference that I was not expecting anything from, like, I it was just like a business mastermind, it was gonna be fun, a friend invited me, so I went. I was in the elevator and I met a yacht title, like a yacht broker, which
Right.
yeah, for those of you that don't know, if you're doing a if you're buying a yacht, you need to get it transferred, and that usually needs notarization, and for international buyers
Okay.
yeah, so for
Yeah.
international buyers, that's like a really big, industry for remote online notaries is yacht
Mhm.
title transfers, and, like, if you talk to a yacht broker, they'll see your immediate like, it's like, okay, if you have someone in Australia that's selling a yacht,
Mhm.
you can notarize it for that seller, and then they can stay in Australia because there's no way that they're flying all the way over here just so that way
Right.
a US-based buyer can buy it. So that's
Wow.
yeah, and I
That's
met
that
him.
that plus that Ron plus again.
I know, I know, I'm sorry. You'll get there though. I
Ron
think,
plus
like
again, huh? I know.
I
Hopefully.
yeah,
We're gonna pray
but
about it. I'm sure it'll come down the line eventually.
I feel like the conversations that I've been listening to on some of the other avenues that I'm in,
Mhm.
it's definitely shifting, and then even the states are like, "Okay." So, if there's anyone listening that wants to kind of get behind that, um, if you do send in emails to your representatives that are making these decisions, it does help.
Good. That
So,
is that is definitely good. I didn't think about that. But
mm,
that makes a lot of sense because that's we need to be present with the lawmakers.
yeah.
Um, because you'll get a bill to come out and you'll be like, wait, what?
I've sat in rooms, I'm not gonna call any states out, but I've sat in rooms where they're talking about things and then they'll say like, "Now, I've never done a remote online notarization, but I think that XYZ." And I'm like, "Well, if you haven't necessarily done one and you don't know all of the steps that the
Mhm.
signers have to go through for fraud, how are
Mhm.
you making an informed decision based on that?"
Exactly.
So, yeah, if you send over emails, it'll make, everyone's life easier, I think, yeah.
All right, Georgia, y'all heard that, right?
Yeah, send those
Send them
emails.
in. Let's send them in.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I wanted to thank you for coming on. I'm really grateful that you are a resource for, I mean, not only just Georgia, but in general. Um, I have valued our friendship, so thank
Yes,
you so
absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it. I was excited when I heard, when I got your little message saying, "Hey," I'm like, "Oh, that's so awesome."
much. Mhm.
I am always, willing to help anywhere where it can be some coaching or some helping when it comes to our notaries, because especially us women, we gotta stick together.
Yeah, I think so. All
Yeah.
right. Well, thank you so much. And if you have any questions, I'm going to go ahead and leave all of the information in the description box below
Okay.
for all of your links and your Facebook group. So
Okay.
that way we can connect and
Yes.
join there.
Yes. Well, thank you for having me, and you have an amazing rest of the day.
Thank you.